The United Nations Security Council is condemning the latest missile tests by Pyongyang. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea fired 3 missiles into the Sea of Japan on Monday. But as CCTV's Nick Harper reports, no new sanctions are being announced.
Well, another emergency session for the United Nations Security Council, meeting again behind closed doors to discuss the situation in the DPRK. The US, Korea and Japan called this meeting to highlight, once again, the problems in the country. Now, after the meeting, they spoke about the fact that there was a sense of unity amongst all the council members, that they unanimously condemned the actions of the DPRK. Now, they say that there have been 22 violations so far this year, including 11 missile launches by the country, and those are violations that quite simply stand in disregard to the United Nations Security Council sanctions that have been placed against the DPRK, sanctions that have been in place since 2006. Well, after the meeting, we heard from Japan's ambassador, Koro Besho, who said that the firing of the missiles was an act of utter disregard, while the US ambassador, Samantha Power, said that the DPRK have made it clear they're carrying out these missile tests so that they can arm them with nuclear weapons, and therefore, she said, it was time for the Council to do more.
I would note that there were very strong and numerous voices in the room for doing more. And so, without getting ahead of the Council, we are also interested in increasing the consequences after this pattern of using these launches to advance the capabilities of the program.
Well, they were able to put out a press statement condemning the actions of the DPRK. This is the 7th press statement of this year. And once again, we're seeing very similar language. They're calling it a grave violation of international obligations by the DPRK. They're calling on member states to redouble their efforts and make sure that the DPRK doesn't violate these sanctions, and also talking about the willingness to take further significant measures. However, that's the language that they used just a couple of weeks ago when they issued the last press statement. So this time round, at least, there won't be more sanctions placed on the DPRK. Back in March, the Council placed the strongest, toughest sanctions that they've ever placed against the country. There has been talk since then about whether they would up those even further. It's not happening this time round. They're putting out a press statement, and some people may suggest that the UN needs to do more to stop these missile tests from happening. Nick Harper, CCTV, in the United Nations in New York.